My friend, it happened. When no one expected it, time made history. A signing that could change everything has arrived now, and I have the exclusive details. Eagles fans, hold on tight. Just when most analysts considered the free agent market to be practically over and the Times had already made their training camp bets, an unexpected move has emerged that could change everything in Philadelphia. A major and surprising name has been linked to the Eagles in recent hours, and if the front office decides to act quickly, they could be getting their hands on one of the most valuable bargains of the entire offseason. We're talking about Julian Blackmon, a 26-year-old safety who, despite his youth, already carries a wealth of experience and a talent that's hard to ignore. Blackmon spent the last 5 years defending the Indianapolis Colts. In 31 games over the last 2 seasons, he has 7 interceptions, a solid record that showcases his tactical acumen, timing, and ability to read the game. However, what's really striking is the context. Even with this level of production, he's still a free agent, and there's an explanation for that. In 2024, Blackmon played with a serious shoulder injury. To avoid direct contact, he had to change positions and adapt his style, something extremely rare and extremely difficult in American football. Still, he managed to deliver good numbers before undergoing off-season surgery. Now recovered and ready to return to his original position, he's being offered a wide berth by several franchises. But among all the possible destinations, Philadelphia appears to be one of the favorites. This is confirmed by USA Today analyst Nick Brinkerhoff, who ranked Blackmon as the 4th best option still available among free agents. What's more, he highlights the Eagles as one of the 3 teams most aligned with the player's profile, alongside the Panthers and Steelers. Why does this make sense for Philly? Simple. The Eagles not only have cap space for another strategic trade, but they've also demonstrated that they're still on the lookout for final adjustments. Proof of this was the recent signing of 3 defensive players, even with a seemingly full roster. In other words, Howie Roseman is paying attention. And if the focus now turns to the secondary, Blackmon represents a high-value target. The comparison with Azeez Ojulari is crucial. Both are young, extremely talented, and were hampered by injuries at crucial moments in their careers. But there's something special about these bets the Eagles are making. They're signings that, if successful, deliver immediate, above-average returns. Blackmon, for example, still has room to develop and a clear motivation to prove he can be a reliable and explosive starter in a system like Sean Desai's, which values safeties with mobility and deep coverage ability. Furthermore, thinking of Blackmon as a mere replacement is a mistake. He can be much more than that. With a solid rotation being built, especially with the arrival of promising young players and the presence of veterans seeking stability, Blackmon would be a perfect technical and tactical fit, capable of playing both nickel and sub-defense packages, offering flexibility for the defensive coordinator. Philadelphia has shown in the past that it knows how to find value where others see doubt. If the franchise doctors are confident in Blackmon's shoulders, and if the contract is crafted intelligently, this could be the most underrated game of the offseason. And there's no doubt, the Eagles are monitoring everything. Each transfer has been strategic and calculated, and this one in particular could be the kind of reinforcement that proves essential mid-season. But the potential arrival of Julian Blackmon could be just the beginning, because if you thought this idea was bold, wait until you hear who else is being linked. The next name has an all-pro resume and is eager for his first chance at the playoffs. And yes, he's also eyeing Philadelphia. If Julian Blackmon represents youth and potential, Justin Simmons is the perfect opposite. Experience, consistency, and leadership. At 31, he's still available on the market and, surprisingly, unsigned, even after 4 second-time All-Pro selections in the last 6 seasons. The safety, who spent 8 years with the Denver Broncos and most recently with the Atlanta Falcons, has yet to play a single playoff snap, and that, for him, seems to be starting to take its toll. Nick Brinkerhoff once again places the Eagles among the favorites to secure Simmons' signature, along with the Steelers and Chiefs. Philadelphia offers exactly what the player is looking for, a real chance to compete for a title. And it's no exaggeration to say that the addition of Simmons has elevated the Eagles' secondary to a new level, bringing a winning mentality and elite technical ability. This isn't new speculation. Since the start of the offseason, Simmons' name has been circulating within the franchise, and sources close to the player confirmed that he would welcome a deal with the Eagles. The question remains, will the front office act now or wait until the start of training camp? It's worth remembering that Philadelphia has made this type of move in the past, waiting for the right moment to continue with impactful veterans without compromising the salary cap. And Simmons' case fit perfectly with this strategy. If the defense still looks inconsistent during the first few practices, don't be surprised if this deal happens quickly. And speaking of surprising moves, as the official start of training camp approaches, the NFL's behind-the-scenes scene is buzzing with information, moves, and rumors. But some of these rumors carry more weight than others. And when it comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, any whisper can become a headline. In the last few hours, an unexpected but quite interesting name has surfaced on Philadelphia's radar: Kendrick Bourne, a veteran wide receiver for the New England Patriots. Patriots. And according to Corey Woodruff of For the Win, the Eagles are reportedly considering a trade to add him to the roster. At first glance, it may seem exaggerated. After all, the Eagles' passing attack is among the most feared in the league. A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are practically untouchable, truly lethal weapons in the vertical game. Jahan Dotson, recently arrived from Washington, completes this elite trio with explosiveness and agility. But it's precisely after these three names that uncertainty arises. The rotation is still a mystery. Johnny Wilson and Aeneas Smith arrive at the second training camp with potential, but they haven't yet proven they can take on greater responsibilities. Behind them, there's a group of players fighting for space and confidence. Elijah Cooks, Danny Gray, Terrace Marshall, Avery Williams, Giles Jackson, Taylor Morin, Darius Cooper, names that so far haven't demonstrated consistency. And that's precisely why Bourne's name is starting to make sense. He offers stability. At 28, Kendrick Bourne is seen as a reliable, disciplined, and useful receiver in crucial situations. He's not the kind of WR who racks up absurd statistics or goes viral with big plays every week, but he's efficient. He runs routes with precision, reads defenses intelligently, and knows how to find space in exciting zones. In a league where details define victories, having a player like him as an outlet can be a quiet but vital differentiator. The projected scenario would be a modest trade, a 7th-round pick, for many a fair bargain. But there are discussions. The Eagles roster has already reached the 90-man limit, and the front office is interested in scouting as many young players as possible during camp. In other words, a trade is only feasible if one of the current WRs doesn't live up to expectations. Right now, everything revolves around performance in the first few weeks of training camp. If a name isn't finalized, and the coaches believe the time requires a safer option, the front office could pull the trigger quickly. Another factor that could weigh in is the New England Patriots themselves. Although they are revamping their offense, they may prefer to receive something in return for Bourne rather than release him for free at the end of the cuts process. And if that happens, the Eagles have a golden opportunity to bring in a veteran who fits perfectly as a WR4 without compromising their future or impacting the salary cap. Fans may wonder, is it worth spending a draft pick on someone who might not even stay after September? And the answer depends solely on evaluating performance in training camp. If Bourne represents more security than any other name on the base, then yes, it's a strategic move. We're talking about a franchise that's going to great lengths to bolster its offense, especially in a season where Jalen Hurts will be tasked with regaining NFC dominance. For now, everything remains under observation. But be careful. If any sign emerges that a receiver hasn't met the required standards, this trade could happen in the blink of an eye. And speaking of strengthening the defense against surprises, the next player linked to the Eagles is simply a 4-time All-Pro still looking for his first playoff game. And according to reliable sources, he's still waiting for the call from Philly. Get ready, because this potential arrival could transform the Eagles' defense from solid to impenetrable. With Julian Blackmon on the radar, Kendrick Bourne being considered for a trade, and Justin Simmons still available on the market, will the Eagles take the next step and transform a promising roster into a true Super Bowl contender before training camp even starts? Leave your opinion here. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, but I will be back later to update you with the latest news.